It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. I'm Ron Brown. This is Tech for Senior Live. It is August the 10th. Can you imagine? Start of fall already. Costco's got their Halloween stuff out. Summer's gone. We're moving on. Anyway, we're here not to talk about the weather, but to talk about the tech news of the week. Lots of good things we're going to talk about today over the next hour. Now, you're probably wondering who we are. Well, I'm going to introduce everyone in a minute, but Tech for Senior is a group of I guess, seniors who we have a Monday show called Tech for Senior. We've just, I'm not going to say recorded because you're going to give me a hard time of that. Well, I guess we didn't tape it. Taping, you give me a hard time. We recorded it. Episode, Huey, you were the MC last week, 175, eh?
Yep.
Episode 175 last week. So if you want to come and join us and let me just put the up. So where are we here? If you want to, details are at www.techforsenior.com. If you want to come and participate in our meeting on Monday, all the details can be found at our website. It's a Zoom meeting, and we start a half an hour before the meeting and have a social event, and then we have our meeting and it's a Zoom meeting, but we do broadcast it to YouTube, so you could also find it on YouTube. We have a great time, and as I said, we're in season 4, which in episode 175. And of course, we have this show, which is the Tech for Senior Live, and it is broadcast through StreamYard. It's not a Zoom meeting. So if you're over there, I see some people on our feed have logged into our Zoom meeting thinking they're going to watch the show from our Zoom meeting. Well, we'll see you Monday, right? It's not going to happen. So if you, because of the confusion there, I have a big button on our website that says take you to the show. If you click that, it'll take you to the right place, because this is broadcast through StreamYard to, of course, Facebook and YouTube. So you can watch either on our Facebook feed, which I'll put up here as well. That's where here we are. And if you want to follow the articles as we go through the news today, we can do that. You can do that on our Facebook page. Now I'm going to introduce everybody in a minute, but we have no idea. We can't see who's out there, so we don't know who's listening to us. And we'd sure appreciate it if you put in the chat where you're from, what the weather is. If you're new here and you've just come to listen to us for the first time, please let us know. We'll give you a big round of applause and let you know that thank you so much for coming and listening to our show. If you're, of course, a regular, then drop your name in there so we can have a chat with you, acknowledge you, and so and we know that who's out there listening. Now, let me introduce the panel we have assembled for. This is an international group of experts who have come today to talk about the news of the week. Now, the first individual I'm going to introduce is, of course, my partner, the person who started Tech for Senior with, we both started it in March. What is it? March the 30th, 2020, I think was our first show we did. And that, of course, is Huey Poplark. Huey from Sarasota, Florida.
Yes.
I'm yeah, long way away because I'm from Canada. I'm on the West Coast on Vancouver Island. Long way away, eh?
Yeah, send us some rain though, will you?
It's raining here. It is. It is raining. So how's your week going? So Huey and I also do learning Chromebooks, which we have coming up this month, eh?
Yeah, we have learning Chromebooks later this month. It's always the fourth Thursday of the month. But this Sunday is the WinSig and the.
Oh, right. I should put that up there.
Yeah. And also the main meeting of CFCS. And Stan has told us that he's going to use one of your old bits and one of mine and then have a discussion on them. So you and I are going to be featured.
Hey, do you know what we're talking about?
I'd have to think about it.
I have to think about that. Okay.
All right. A lot of ands and ohs.
I better have a look and see what I'm supposed to be an expert
Yeah, he
on.
sent you a note. He sent you a note on it. Anyway, so that, and then of course I'm doing the WinSig prior to that, and I've started my list. So there's going to be a lot of things about Windows and Microsoft and so on that we do every month.
Right.
And then yesterday I did a presentation for APCUG, one that I did here on SD cards. I've lengthened it a little bit, and we had a lot of discussion. We had almost 200 people.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to talk about SSDs on the show today.
Yeah.
So we added another S just to confuse you. All right. Well, we will get to that shortly. And of course, our security expert, the man who keeps the bad guys away from our show. He is also a prolific YouTube and historian. We're going to call you a historian now with all the work you've been doing on Small Town USA. And a great friend of ours and an awful nice guy, Bob Gostisha from Los Lunas, New Mexico.
Actually, I got a little sidetracked because I've been in space for the last couple of
you left the Earth.
Yep. Been to Mars. We colonized Mars. We actually resurrected Martians, went on excursions with them. It was a heck of a nice time. So,
and I didn't know that
diversify. You can't always be stuck with the same stuff.
Yeah, I didn't realize you believed in reincarnation. You came back. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Get older, you better believe in something.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the most popular person on our Monday show, the man who has this knack for choosing great music, which everyone wants to listen to. That's why I put him on the last part of the show, because they have to listen to the three of us for the whole time, because they all want to listen to Ray. He comes up with these great music as for our outro. He's our music director for the show. He's also the president of APCUG, which is the Association of Personal Computer User Groups. And he is an awful nice guy as well. A techie, a very knowledgeable techie guy. And so we're so honored to have you with us, Ray.
Well, I'm honored to be here. Thank you. Talking about reincarnation, in my other life, we had so many cats in the house, and people said if they ever died and reincarnation was true, they want to come back as one of our cats.
Well, I just wanted to, let me just have a look here. Where the heck was it here? I want to show you something. I was having breakfast this morning. My daughter, of course, has made it to Addis in Ethiopia, and I was feeling a little low because no one was having breakfast with me. And my old buddy came by next door and had breakfast with me. This is the part of our resident Eagles, and he dropped in on the house next door, and that's the view out of my kitchen window. And so we had a chat. He talked to me, I talked to him, and he was happy to see me eating, and I was happy to see him getting his tummy full. And that was my breakfast breakfast buddy this
That's
morning.
pretty special.
Mhm.
That's pretty special.
He's often there. I wouldn't want to live in that house because it makes an awful mess of that roof. But he sort of he's always comes there and has breakfast. So anyway, yes, indeed.
As
Huey,
long as the shingles don't start tasting like fish.
like fish. Yeah, I know. Huey, is there anyone out there listening to us?
Yeah,
On
there
and on here?
certainly is. Let's take a
Is there?
look.
Ed from Central New Jersey, 80 degrees, hot. Bernard, Sterling Heights Computer Club in Detroit, Michigan. Gene Lingenfelter from Pennsylvania, 66. Ooh, cool, 66 degrees and cloudy. Mike Lehman from Moncton, New Brunswick. Welcome, Mike. Gerald Smith, West Seattle, 62 degrees and sunny. How come you're sunny there? We got rain. It's overcast and raining here. Steve says Kirkland, 64 degrees and cloudy. Dick, melting in Sanford, Florida.
Must be warm.
So you don't need any rain if you're melting.
Exactly. Murray says hello from Victoria, BC. Is this where I add comments or ask questions? It certainly is. You got it right, Murray. You can certainly do that. That you're in the right
And
spot.
Murray's a person of few words. So we got another message from him.
Yes,
Dave, Riverview, Florida. Stan, hi from Orlando, 91 degrees and sunny. Hey, is it really that hot down there, Huey?
Yeah, the feels like temperature today is supposed to be, I think, 105 or 108, something
wow.
like that.
Murray, oh my gosh, Murray, you wrote a book. He must be doing this through voice dictation. Suggestion for Ray's music for TFS Popcorn. First version, Popcorn, is an instrumental composed by Gershon Kingsley in 1969. I'll let you read the whole thing there, but Murray's got a good comment for your music outro. What do you? So I'll let Ray digest that.
Thank you. I will.
Okay. Jolin says, "Oh, Jolin, yes, Jolin's here from the Low Country of South Carolina, stubbing at the Computer Club today. We'll try to stay with you, but may have to help a member at this end. Of course, Jolin helps us with Tech for Senior. She helps us with learning Chromebooks. She's a tireless worker for their Computer Club. Sally Ann, we need more rain. Kirkland White. Well, it's raining. We're going to send you some rain shortly. Hang in there. It's coming. Irving, hello from Ottawa. We had lots of rain at the moment, 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Clark, currently 78 degrees and raining, beginning soon in Trenton.
And I'll be in North Carolina pretty soon.
Yeah.
Still a ways away from where Jolin is.
Mm-hmm.
We're well represented in Canada and the U.S. and states all along the coast.
So let's get on with with some new stuff. Otherwise, everyone's going to leave on you. So let's talk about. Let's have a look here, and we'll bring up. So the article I want to talk about before we get to the news articles was an article that came out this week, which was, we just lost 3 terabytes of data on a SanDisk Extreme SSD. How are these still on sale? So the article goes on to say, if you're thinking of buying a SanDisk Extreme Pro, Extreme Portable, or Western Digital My Passport SSD, maybe just don't. My colleague just lost 3 terabytes of video we'd shot for The Verge because the drive is no longer readable. Unfortunately, the broken state of the internet means Western Digital doesn't have to work very hard to keep selling these drives. It goes on and on and on, and says, and there's even a YouTube video about this. Now, if you look at the drive that he's talking about, is this particular one, which is the 4 terabyte Extreme Portable SSD. Now, this is the Canadian price. I went on Amazon, and it is on sale, of course, for $100 off, which is a big deal. It was 433 and now down to 343. So they are discounting it. And now I have, and most of us probably have had a SanDisk SSD, right? So this is a little bit nerve-wracking. Now, I know yesterday, Huey, you talked about SD cards. This is a solid state drive. This is not a spinning drive. That is what an SSD drive is, right? Solid state. So I guess the question is are you guys worried about? Now I have a 2. Now here's the interesting thing about this. I actually have a 2 terabyte SanDisk drive, which when I was doing this article for today, I went and looked at it, and it's full. I've got half a gigabyte left on it. So I'm going to tell you what I did at the end of the show today. I'll tell you what, or of this session, I'll tell you what I went and did. But so should I be worried? Is this something, Huey? Do you think it's okay, or what do you think about solid state drives?
Well, solid state drives are pretty good. They do have a finite life, but it's fairly long, so you don't have to, for the most part, worry about it. But I have a 4 terabyte SSD stick in my computer, and it's not an external drive. It's what's built in, and I'm only about half full, so they're great. They're very fast. There's no read write arm going back and forth. It's very fast, and they're very good. But if you got one that's failing, a lot of people, they have a problem.
And it's the software. The issue was the software with that 4 terabyte SanDisk drive. And apparently this is a well-recognized problem. And I don't know if it's because it's a large drive, if it's the problem, but there was a software. Bob, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, if you have that particular model, I'd worry. I wouldn't put anything on it. I'd go out and get one that's not that model.
Right.
The one you have, the one that's just 2 terabytes.
Right.
Totally different software.
Okay.
What they're doing is they're compressing it to the infinite.
Right.
Yeah. So, anytime you make things smaller, there could be a little problem. And apparently here there is, and it's with the software.
Right.
So if they fix the software, I don't know whether it will resurrect what's been lost, but it would prevent it from happening in the future. But you have to wait for the software fix.
Ray, any comments on it?
Nowhere does the article indicate how many of the drives are affected by this. So this could be just one-off. Just fact that they did a firmware update does not mean that all drives are bad. A lot of companies do firmware updates over time for a variety of reasons. The one thing that's also another thing missing from the article is these are professionals. This is the first professional photographer from The Verge. Why wasn't he doing an automatic backup to the cloud as he was taking his motion pictures?
Good point. I mean, you're a professional. The Verge writes about all this stuff. Like,
Exactly.
why would you leave it all just on an SSD?
So why does the mechanic
first before you go blaming somebody else?
Why does the mechanic have the worst running car? Okay, that's where the problem comes in.
That's right. Well,
but it is a reminder to all of us that no matter what we back up on, that backup is susceptible to being lost as well.
That's right.
Yep.
Because let's look at the advantages of an SSD. I mean, there are some big advantages, and when it comes to speed, SSDs are in a league of their own. Unlike the spinning hard drives, which rely on spinning platters and mechanical arms to read the data, SSDs utilize flash memory chips. And the absence of moving parts leads to significant faster access time and data transfer times. Whether you're booting up your system, launching applications, or copying files, SSDs excel in providing near instantaneous performance, leading to a more seamless and enjoyable computing experience, right?
In the video that I had that gave you tips on speeding up, the best tip out there for anything, just put in an SSD if you have it in a regular hard drive now. That's right. The best thing you'll ever do for your system.
Now, the other thing is enhanced performance. The improved speed of SSD translates into enhanced overall performance. Tasks are used to take minutes are now completed in seconds.
Yep.
Multitasking becomes smoother as applications load faster and run more efficiently. Creative professionals, gamers, and business alike benefit from increased responsiveness, reduced lag time, so on and so forth. Now, my life is mostly video editing, and on my Dell that I have, my desktop, I had it purchased it with a 1 terabyte SSD. So it's all SSD on mine, and it's fast. I mean, I need fast. To me, speed is so important. So that's important for me.
Many people go out and increase the RAM and still have that slow hard drive.
Right.
You have to realize that the faster the machine, or your machine can only be as fast as its slowest component. And if you have a very slow hard drive, well, that's the bottleneck. Everything has to go through that hard drive.
I think most PCs now come with solid state drives.
Yes.
I haven't.
Yeah, they do.
Don't you guys think that? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I think you're probably right on that. Now, reliable and durability. Now, the research says one of the most compelling advantages of SSDs is actually their remarkable reliability. Since they lack moving parts, they are less susceptible to mechanical failures, shocks, vibrations, and often plague HHDs. This makes SSDs ideal for laptops, portable devices, as they can withstand the rigors of being carried around without the fear of data loss due to a sudden impact. Because, of course, if you have those movable heads moving back and forth and you jiggle it, or there's this problem with that, then those heads can go and move, and that can scratch the platter, and that of course is a disaster. But they don't have that with SSDs.
There's no platter.
No platters, right? Now, energy efficiency, SSDs consume significantly less power than compared to spinning hard drives. Their efficient design and lack of moving components result in a lower energy consumption, which means you extend your battery life on laptops by reducing electrical bills. Also, the energy efficiency not only benefits users, but also contributes to more environmentally friendly ecosystem, right? So
Also, your system runs cooler with an
exactly,
SSD. Yep.
that's right. So I think that that's a good thing. And then the last thing was silent operation. The mechanical components in a traditional hard drive generate noise as they spin and move, and that can be distracting in quiet environments. SSDs, on the other hand, operate silently due to their lack of moving parts. The feature is not only enhances the user experience, but also makes SSD-equipped systems ideal for noise-sensitive environments like recording studios and libraries.
I never hear anything out of my desktop because it's got an SSD. I do hear the one up on top that does the backups. That's the noisy baby, but that's the old system.
The system, yeah. So now one of the articles we're going to talk about today, we'll be getting that when we do review the articles. This isn't the review. We'll talk about a little bit more. But this is an article that you can find on our page. This came out this week. Major SSD brands ranked worst to best and which ones to avoid. Now, I can't open the article from here, but when we do the article and review it, I'll open it, and you can see what the comments they say. But most of the brands, such as Kingston, Western Digital, Seagate, they're all excellent. There was, I think, PYY and a couple of
EN1.
Yeah, there's some odd ones there that you want to stay away from. But I think all the major brands really have some pretty rock solid performance, right?
And if you have a 2 terabyte SSD for $15, stay away from it.
That's right.
Simple logic. If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
It is. It is. All right. All right. Just before we'll get to the comments, before we do that, I want to tell everyone what I did, because last night when I looked at this, I saw that my 2 terabyte SSD SanDisk was full, I decided I had to make some decisions quickly because I wanted to. I keep all the Tech for Senior shows and everything backed up, and they're big files and they're backed up. This one lasted a couple of years. So what I did is I bought a Western Digital 8 terabyte hard drive. It's not an SSD, it's a spinning drive because I just use it for backup. I dump the stuff maybe every 2 weeks. I dump all my files over there and I need a big storage. And to get, I could have bought another 2 terabyte SSD, but the speed isn't an issue with these because I'm just using it as sort of as external storage. And it was on sale at Best Buy, and I got it 8 terabyte for, I think it was $179, which is Canadian. So it's, it'll be a lot less in US. So that's what I bought, and they had one, and I'm going to pick it up this afternoon. And that's what I did. Huey, any comments or questions before we get on to the?
Yep.
Murray says, we aren't very far from Ron, but here in Victoria it is beautiful and sunny. We're going to send you some rain. Gerald says, Ron, you sent us some drizzly yesterday, but the weather is on the mend to hot weather this weekend and next. If you want sun, just take a ferry across to the Sunshine Coast. All right. True. Steve says, we had a few SanDisk drives die. Avoid them like the plague now. No Samsung drive failures. All right. Good point. Geeks on Tour, Jim says, Amazon just knocked on the door delivering my new 1 terabyte Samsung SSD.
He's safe. It's not the 4 terabyte.
Yeah, now that I'm assuming that's the external drive. I guess they're delivering my new 1 terabyte SSD. I'm assuming that's not an internal drive. It's probably
Samsung he's talking about, not SanDisk. Big difference.
Right. But Samsung makes an external 1 terabyte drive. I wonder if it's an internal one that he's going to put into his machine.
Samsung's a good brand, very dependable. I've not had any problems with the ones I have.
I agree.
Exactly. Is that all? Are we all caught up?
That's it. Yep.
That's it. Okay. All right. Let's come up, and I just want to let everyone know, if you want to follow along with what we have to show you today, this is I'll leave that up for a second. And this is where all our articles are. Let me just come over here, and we're going to share my screen. And we'll go to Facebook.
Don't forget to refresh.
And we will refresh. And then we will come up. Oh, Ray gets let me see if I can make this a bit bigger for everybody.
I jump over to Facebook and watch it over there. So.
Right.
So I can see who it's from.
All right. Okay, I think we'll get going here. Ray, I guess you have, as usual, the first article here.
All right. This is called Netflix, and it's their secret codes, which I didn't realize were in existence. But in the Baxter household, there's only 2 of us here, but deciding what to watch can be challenging. Sometimes we can spend 30 minutes just looking through each of the little previews of movies or series that are on, and there's thousands of choices, as we all know. So this Netflix codes is for movies and TV shows, and it can be used to access content linked to dozens of specific genres and categories. So you're sure to find something you really want to watch. So if you read the article, it'll provide hundreds of codes and step-by-step instructions for their use.
Does that mean I can find something I want to watch?
Yes. So you know what genre you like?
Right.
Put that in and use their code, and it'll give you a much more detailed breakdown of those types of movies that fit that genre.
Very good. Very good. And also, you got number 2 spot.
Which one is this?
This is the
okay, yes. I think it's ironic. Word of the day, ironic, that Zoom wants its workers back in the office. So they, of course, were the major platform that fostered remote work from home during the pandemic. but they're now requiring employees that live within 50 miles of a Zoom office to return to work in person at least 2 days a week, twice a week. Now, this is happening in a lot of industries, but technology in particular. Now, the article doesn't state this, but I believe a contributing factor is the cost of empty office space that these companies are committed to for years in the future. So as long as they have to pay for the office space, they may have as well have their employees using the space to get the job done.
Very interesting. And
well, here's a new term, a new scam term that I didn't know about called brushing, and it has nothing to do with your teeth. But brushing, the example they use here, this is a Scottsdale, Arizona couple, and they received a package from Amazon that they did not order. It was addressed to their address, but the name of the recipient was not their name. And then over time, more and more packages started arriving. So authorities say this is called the scamming, or the brushing scam. And online sellers need to have good reviews. So by sending packages to addresses, they have on record that something was delivered. And then they can go and write a positive article about, or review rather, about that particular product on the Amazon website that's selling it. So to them, the cost of the product and the shipping expense is cheap compared to getting a positive review. The good news for recipients is the law states if you get something and that you're not entitled to, but that was sent to you, you can keep it. But most of the people in this article said most of the stuff they got is junk and they wouldn't want to keep it.
Ray, I don't know if you saw, but I posted a similar article that we'll be watching a little bit later.
Okay.
And this had to do with a lady in Vancouver, and she was getting all these shoes, and they were being, but the problem was they were being shipped internationally to her in Vancouver. She had no idea, she never ordered any of this stuff from Amazon. And the brokerage fees that she was getting, and then she got into all sorts of trouble with credit ratings because the brokerage companies wanted to charge her, and
Wow.
which really, yeah, I know she doesn't have to pay it, but the brokerage was a separate company, and they said, well, we delivered these parcels, and we want our brokerage fee. So anyway, we'll come to that article, but very interesting, very interesting.
Like Bob always says, if there's a scam to be had, there's people out there that want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Now Saudi Arabia has joined the platform to say USB-C for Apple products, and they're following the lead of the European Union. And I reported on that several weeks ago. Saudi Arabia now has a law requiring all future smartphones and other types of devices sold in the kingdom have to have USB-C ports starting in 2025. So, but the timing means that this will not affect the upcoming iPhone 15. But it certainly is the end of the Lightning connector going forward.
But didn't we post last week? I know that we've seen pictures of iPhone 15 and it has USB-C charging. I mean, that's been well documented on the news services the last couple of weeks. Is someone's got a picture of it, of the iPhone 15, and it doesn't have Lightning; it has the USB-C on there. So
right.
I think the change is coming in the iPhone 15, which of course will be announced in the next.
Yeah,
few
I was
weeks.
just quoting what it says in this article, but
yeah,
you're probably more up to date.
Yeah, so it's there. Well, that's good. Well, that's right, and so it'll be out with Lightning, and it'll all be USB-C. Let's have a look here. We'll come down. Bob, you're going to Mars? Did you?
I finished going to Mars.
Oh, okay.
And it turns out it's in 4 parts, but this is the final all one video, and it's 30 minutes long.
Oh,
so this was quite an extensive
trip. Well, it's a long way to Mars, isn't it?
It's a long way. So 30 minutes is actually very short for all the stuff because the Bob who did this trip, he went from being 25 to being 150.
Oh, I don't think I want to age that fast.
Well, it wasn't over a short amount of time.
All right. Well, thanks, Bob. And then, of course, do you want to comment on no explanation needed?
No explanation needed. Sometimes I just wish I had the wisdom of a 90-year-old, the body of a 20-year-old, and the energy of a 3-year-old. Don't we all wish we were in that position?
Yes, exactly, for sure. Where's Murray? Murray Strom. Or if you're listening, Victoria just bought a $1.7 million electric fire truck. Electric plug-in. So just let us know how that works out. I guess if they get a battery fire, it'll be at the fire hall, so they'll be able to put it out really quick. Eh? Anyway, there's the shiny new, I never heard of that, an electric fire truck. Huh. So, and that is, of course, in Victoria, electric.
Hopefully the batteries don't catch fire because they won't have anything on board to put them out.
That'd be a tough one. Now, the interesting thing is this was, I was telling everybody, is Mike Ungerman on the, is here? Mike,
I haven't seen his name. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike is, of course, our regular contributor on the show, and he talks about EVs. And I bought a hybrid this year, and I quite like it. But of course, we all know some of the problems. And I don't want to be negative about EVs, but this really was a sad situation. This was an F-150 that this fella bought for $110,000. Right? It's loaded. An F-150 2023 electric F-150. He then spent $6,000 on a level 2 charger in his home. So he's probably, up to well over $120,000 now. And he decides to take his brand new truck and drive from Winnipeg to Chicago. And he gets sort of across the border and tries to charge it and runs into all sorts of charging problems. He ends up ditching the truck, and they're towing it to a Ford dealer, renting a gas vehicle, and completing his trip. Now, I'm not being negative. I think electrical is good, but the point is this is a very, very expensive vehicle, and for it not to work is not a good thing. So I thought that was an interesting one.
Problem isn't that it didn't work. The problem is, if you don't get gasoline for a regular car, it's not going to go anywhere. And if you don't get electricity for an electric car, it won't go anywhere.
Anyway, interesting article. Now, this came out this morning. Bob, have you seen this? I'm sort of excited about this. This is Google Docs. And actually, and as well with Gmail, is that the new e-signature system now in beta for Workspace. And so we're going to be able to digitally sign our Google Docs.
That's good. I won't have to pay for something else.
I know. Yeah.
What we've been doing up until now.
Yeah. So what do you think? Have you guys seen this? This just came out this morning. Has it been around for a while? I'm not.
I hadn't heard of it.
This is for Workspace, so this is usually for commercial. But if you're doing beta testing,
it's coming. It's coming, Bob. It's in.
Okay, it's so everybody will have access to it. Great.
Yeah. So you'll be able to.
If you remember, PDFs or portable file system from Adobe were brought out so people could have a copy of a document and it couldn't be edited. And so if you signed it, it was your signature, and but people could see it. And now that's all changed because there's so many editing programs for PDFs, including, of course, Adobe's program. So that is no longer a protection for you. So this sounds like it's going to take the place of that. So that's good.
I'm excited about it. I think this
allows you to do things remotely, like closing on a house in a different place, because you can sign all your paperwork through e-signatures.
Yep.
And they are legal and they are accepted everywhere.
Yeah, I thought that's cool. Just a comment. This was it came out this morning. Google Messages is becoming more secure with default end-to-end encryption. This is the new RCS, and is now totally encrypted. Ah, yeah, this is cool. This is the Android phone will now tell you if someone has planted an AirTag on you. And this is a tracker feature. It's active on mine. I looked on my phone, and with the latest update, it's there, and it's automatically turned on. So if someone has planted an AirTag in your bag or something and wants to maliciously track you, your Android phone will now tell you that someone's tracking you that shouldn't be. Isn't that cool?
It is.
So it's, and I looked on my phone, and it's under accessibility, and it's right there, and it was turned on. So
Added protection.
yeah, I thought that was really really cool. So if if somebody slipped an AirTag in your bag, and you didn't wanted to keep an eye on where you are, then it'll notify you. I thought that's pretty cool. Oh, now Ray,
Yes.
you and I have been talking about flip phones for a long time, and you have one. I think this is the future, and I think this is where we're going. Just to let everyone know, we talked a lot about the Flip 5, and we did a whole talked to a couple of weeks ago. We did a whole show about them. Samsung India claims 100,000 pre-bookings for the Galaxy Z Flip 5. That's just in India.
Well, that's the largest population in the world.
Yeah, but this is going to be a big seller. So lots of interest in the Flip.
Yeah, I was watching last night some CNET reviews, and they're focusing on it when they had the Samsung expose about it. And I didn't realize how many apps now work on that outside screen,
the front screen, right?
That makes a big difference.
Do they have to be written specifically for that, Ray? Do they have to be written specifically?
No, most of them will work. Not all of them. And they did this. What I watched pointed out that the Motorola version of a flip phone actually is much more adaptable to working with any app, whereas the one for Samsung only majority work, but not all.
Interesting. Huey.
Yes, AI supercharges drug discoveries, potentially changing medicine. So what they're finding is the ability using AI is they can, with all of the information and all the research, and they can put it all together, and through AI, they're coming up with pills and other medicines that are going to help us control various ailments. And so we're going to see a lot of drugs come on the market. And the problem is getting the government agencies to approve them and test them. But they're going to have things to be able to fix you. And so we're going to be able to live maybe a little bit longer than we do now.
So 150 isn't that far-fetched.
No.
We'll be able to go to Mars. We'll be able to go with Bob back to
Yeah.
Mars. Yeah. All right. Huey, yours.
Yeah. Typo leaks millions of U.S. military emails to
Yeah,
Mali web operator.
Yeah, I covered that 2 weeks ago in Security News Update.
Yeah, I remember. That's why when I saw this, I added it here. What's happening is Mali's the designation is .ml and the military is .mil. And so what people in the military were doing is leaving out the I by mistake, and a lot of military emails were going to Mali.
Oopsie.
And Uncle Sam's been notified of this thing for a very, very long time, but seems to do nothing about it.
Yeah, and they hide it, and now it's out. So now they'll have to do something about it.
This is yours here as well.
Yeah, and there's no picture there, but it's Microsoft announces indefinite postponement of multi-account search in Outlook, and I'm really upset about this, to be honest with you, because it's one. If you run Outlook, the program that's part of Office, or what do they call it, Microsoft 365, and you run the actual program of Outlook, it has in the past, you could do a search, and one of the choices was all mailboxes. Well, I have three that I have in my Outlook. One's Gmail, one's Outlook.com, and one's my own domain. And I can search, and it'll search all of the email boxes, including the different folders that I make. Well, in the latest versions of Outlook, there's a switch at the top. You can try the new Outlook, which they're going to force us to go to it soon. But in the new one, when you do a search, it will only search the mailbox that you're in. And so, like for me, I've got 3 different mailboxes in Outlook. I'd have to go and search each one, the same search in each one of my mailboxes to find out if there's any mail that will fit what I'm looking for.
I'm in the same predicament you are, Huey. I use Outlook and I have multiple email. Did they give any reason why they made this change?
Apparently, there's not enough of us that complain, and that was one of the things when I tried the new version, and when I turned it off, they said, "Well, why are you doing it?" And it's exactly what I said. So they have a record of me, but I guess there's not enough of me's to go around. I've been thinking about taking a look at some other email programs, including what's the one, Thunderbird is supposed to be able to handle that. And I might start looking at Thunderbird.
Yeah, they've been around forever and have an excellent reputation.
Yeah, they didn't update for quite a long time, but I understand recently they have done some updates in Thunderbird. So I'm tempted to try it. I think Thunderbird comes from the same people who do Firefox.
Correct.
Huey, any comments that we should be reviewing?
Let me switch over to us and let's see where we're at. We didn't have time for this, but
USB. Okay, so
yeah, it was a USB that he
USB one. Yep.
Yeah, and then
Diane says, "Where do I find out what type of solid state drive I have in the brand? I forget where. Oh, how if you have an SSD in your computer, how do you know what SSD is in there?"
Go to System and go to About.
Yeah. She's on a Mac, so I'm not sure if it's the same way of finding it, but your system should tell you what you've got in it somewheres in your setups.
Mm-hmm. That is the definition of ironic. Arrives at the door, right?
Yeah.
Jolin says, just saw a news article about Amazon brushing. Amazon is not happy about it at all.
And that looks like
it's a way for companies to bypass the ban on having employees and their relatives leave good reviews.
Huey, this is yours.
Yeah, all Windows 11 users should install the KB, which is stands for knowledge base, and the number update as soon as possible. Bob, is that the one you're having problems with, or is
it's not.
Is this a fix for it?
I'm on an insider build, and this for me just started 2 days ago.
But I did notice Tuesday when I checked, there was several updates, and this one was included, and I went ahead and clicked on it and did the install for it. But they're recommending to get it done.
Right, because it fixes bugs.
Yeah,
but it also does some other things. You will get a security warning if you're on a system that doesn't have the right chips in it, if you're on Windows 11.
I just did that last night, and I've got it up on my other screen here. It says, let's finish setting up your PC. So it's probably a big update, eh?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Pluto.
Yes. Bark Bark.
Huh.
It's not Pluto the dog, it's Pluto TV. A
Yeah,
1 in
it's not
3
Pluto the
streamers.
planet, huh?
Yeah, or the planet, or former planet. 1 in 3 streamers now watch free services like Pluto TV, Tubi, the Roku channel, Freevee, and more.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are not paying for the different services. They're getting the free services. Pluto has hundreds of channels, and it's not all regular TV, but it's some of the older stuff, but also some really good stuff. And I watch Pluto TV a lot because
What's
there's lots of
ironic,
choices.
what's ironic, Huey, is that I have YouTube TV, and YouTube TV pretty much learns what you like, what you don't like. And when it has the recommended for you, it not only recommends YouTube TV, but also those free channels if you have them installed. And if they're not installed, it leads you right to the installation. And then you go ahead and install it and you start watching the movies. It
Yep.
recommends movies on channels that are not necessarily part of YouTube TV.
Just
Yeah,
remember the word free means ads, and I refuse
That's
to
correct.
watch anything with ads. I'd
Well,
rather.
we grew up with ads on regular TV. Not as many as they stick in the programs anymore,
Correct.
but
And they're shorter.
and they're shorter. So they'll put 4 or 5 in a 1 minute. Which was formerly a 1 minute spot is now 4 or 5 short ones. But the free services out there, there's a lot of really interesting programs, and there's a lot of availability of different types of things to watch.
For us, the repeats for some of the youngsters, this is something brand new they'd never seen before. That's because it was put out before they were ever born.
Huey, Facebook discontinues SMS messaging feature on Messenger.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what that means. I was hoping somebody could. And I think you just showed one dealing with this. It's something about the messaging in Facebook Messenger. Now it's a format that they use, and it's not going to be SMS. And I think you had something.
So what we're doing here, so what they're doing here, Huey, is they're not allowing you to send an SMS or text message through your phone service. Now, it's interesting because I'm going to be talking on Monday I'll put a little plug in for the Monday show. I'm going to be talking about the WhatsApp app because it's pretty cool. It does allow SMS messaging, and it is, of course, by Facebook as well. So, but interesting. Not sure why that is so.
Yep.
Bob, we covered
this is
that.
part 4.
Part 4.
If you want to see the whole thing, watch the latest one. As I said, the whole movie is 30 minutes long, or you can get it in pieces. This one is part 4. Further down, you find 3, 2, and 1.
I put this up. I was hoping Mike would be here today because I think didn't Mike order this car? Anyway, Volvo almost doubled the plug-in car sales in July of 2023. I think this is the one that Mike ordered.
Instead of 2 of them, they've sold 4 of them.
Yeah, well, I think they're doing very well. Now, just for you, did you see this article? UPS just signed a new contract. Everyone wants to be a UPS worker after union scores $170,000 driver pay. So I think I'm going to go back to work and be.
But he's not working 40 hours. This is a guy that's working overtime on top of overtime. I know. I used to work for UPS.
Anyway, not a bad job.
No.
This is another request. This just came out. Gmail app gets highly requested native translation feature. So you'll be able to translate in Gmail from different languages, which is I think going to be a big positive thing. This is just is rolling out as we speak.
Provided you know the person you're getting that email from. Don't use this to open up emails from people you don't know.
Correct.
You shouldn't be opening those in the first place.
Right. But there are a lot of, like, particularly my daughter who lived in Beijing, and she's talked last week or a couple of weeks ago on the show about using the translation features. There are people in different languages and they use it all the time. It's a really big deal. Just to get on with this one, many of you, this whole thing about AI, I don't know if you've been following, but part of the horsepower used by AI is they're using it in the video cards that NVIDIA is making. And man, NVIDIA is just fallen in the right time at the right place, and it is a company that is definitely going to be on top. It's really interesting to follow it. So have a look at that.
And the thing about this article is that they kind of predicted, hopefully, that the AI thing would do what it did, because if it didn't, they would have then gone down the tubes.
Right. Now, just, I know you were depressed because you missed something on Amazon Prime that we just had, but guess what? We're having another Prime Day in October. Aren't you guys excited?
I heard. Yeah.
Aren't you guys excited? I know Ray's just leaping off his chair there. He's going to be so excited. We're going to get another Prime Day. I didn't know that.
Well, the thing is now is start looking at things that you want, and hopefully they'll be on sale. And so between now and, you got some time between now and October to make a list, and you can do that right in the Amazon website. Is create a list of things you want, and then kind of watch the prices on them.
I just want to flip through these quickly now so that everybody, because we're running out of time. But Google details how Android 14 protects against cellular attack. I'm sure Bob's going to do something on that. 12 essential apps every iPhone owner should own. I'm not going to go through this, but this actually is a good article. And if you do have an iPhone, this is a good article. It's just a reference article for you. Have a look at that one. And this is the article, major SSD brands ranked worst to best. You can have a look at that if you are interested. You can look at that. It's
you said you were going to open that one.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to run out of time, and there's a few articles here I want to get to. WhatsApp screen share. WhatsApp, which I'll be talking a lot about on this coming Monday, is going to be rolling out a screen share as part of the app. It's an interesting feature. This is the shoe lady from Vancouver, who, in fact, and this is a little bit, I'm not sure this is totally brushing, but this is one of the problems with returns, particularly if you ordered from China and you get a pair of shoes, Amazon makes you return them back to China or to a depot. So none of the companies want these shoes back, but they have to be shipped. So they picked this as ladies. They picked it out at random, her address, and she's getting thousands of shoes.
Yeah, it's brushing. And she doesn't have to return the stuff.
No, she's anyway.
If she doesn't want it, the garbage pail will take care of it.
Or charity. Charity is the way I would go.
Or goodwill. Yeah.
Right. Oh yes, Bob, you probably know this. Google is picking up the pace of home security update releases, and we probably will get them weekly now instead of monthly. Solar flare. Did you guys see that? The Earth was hit by an X1 solar flare. This was last week, and it actually did disrupt large parts of the internet. Did you guys hear about that?
It depends on where you lived. If
That's
it
right.
affected you, you knew about it. If it didn't affect you, who cared?
Yeah, this is interesting. And Bob, of course, has a new report out on cybercrime, which, of course, we'll be playing on. Watch the show on Monday, and we'll be watching that.
I guess I'll be adding that to the list.
I'll be adding it to the list. And we'll have the show on Monday is going to be Bob Gustisha as Tech for Senior. Core supports GrandPad mission to help seniors age in place.
Yeah, it's some kind of a thing for seniors. And I sent them a note, an email. I'm waiting for a response to see if maybe this would be something. It's a free service I think it doesn't say that it's free or government backed
It's
or
an
whatever.
internet service provider is what it is.
Yeah, but it's aimed at seniors, and they give you some kind of a pad.
So Zoom just launched Clips, which is Bob's got a video about it. I'm just going to say it's an interesting thing. Have a look at that. I just want to get all these articles done so we
We're
talk a
starting to
little.
run out of time. It's a
We
minute.
are. So I wanted to come down here. There's a couple of articles that I wanted to. Here's the iPhone 15 USB-C port just captured on camera. So this is the iPhone 15, and there's the USB. Lightning is gone. And there was a couple of other. Bob, we got to talk more about this. I finally gave up on LastPass, and switching was a nightmare. We need to talk more about this on our Monday show.
Why was it a nightmare? Just export
well,
and
we-
import. We went through on this on a video.
Also, 4 new Chrome OS features to make your Chromebook great for school. Just a reminder that Huey and I will be doing Learning Chromebooks this week. And what else?
Top of the hour.
Top of the hour. I think that's it.
Well, there's a lot more articles. It's just
that's it. We
Yep.
have finished. We have gone through. Let me stop the share now. It's always a challenge to get through all the articles. So and man, we have such a good time, and time flies so fast. And we got any final comments there, Huey, before we go?
No, I guess we had them really enthralled.
They were going through so fast at the end, no one had time to type anything in. There we go. Listen, so thanks so much for coming and listening to us. Don't forget, Monday is going to be a great show. We got lots of good stuff coming on our Monday show. We'll see everyone there, and of course, we'll be back here the same time, the same place next week, because the news never stops. It just keeps coming.
Isn't
right?
it great? Yes.
Just keeps coming. Don't forget, Google, Gmail, you can translate now. All the good stuff there. Be careful of the SSDs you buy. And I got to go and pick up my new hard drive at Best Buy today and put it in because I got to back up some stuff.
Okay.
Email, you can put it on your desktop.
There you go. There you go. All right. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll see everyone
Bye, everybody.
in another
Thank you.
week. Bye now.